Hello, happy Tuesday, everyone. So, just continuing the vlog series on the cognitive distortions, and this series was Discover 11 Ways to Take the Drama Out of Your Thinking and Reduce Your Stress. So, remember, I have already introduced the concept of cognitive distortions, and it's around us kind of catastrophizing or generalizing things, right? So, it's like you'll have some of those weeks or days where it feels like that everything in your life is just not working, right? But objectively speaking, we know that that's not true. And, statements like my entire life sucks or I'm never going to be happy have a name, and that's cognitive distortions. They're basically thoughts that feel true, but really aren't. And, we all have thoughts like this. And so it doesn't mean that if you do, there's anything wrong with you. They're just a reflection on how our brain loves to over a focus and on perceived threats and negativity, make judgments with only partial information, and overgeneralize, taking facts about a single specific situation and applying them to everything. So yeah, we're all guilty of it. And while they're normal, they can actually create a lot of unnecessary stress because we're thinking about things that aren't real, right? So if you often feel annoyed or anxious or stubbornly pessimistic about a particular situation, you're probably, having those kind of cognitive distortions. And the good news is that it actually means that what's actually probably happening to you isn't really that bad. It's just your thoughts that need some adjusting. So yesterday I went through 2 of the cognitive distortions, and today I'm going to go through 2 more. And these were developed by Dr. David Burns, who's the pioneer behind cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, I've got another book for you today as well, which I'll write down in the comments. And funnily enough, I was listening to a podcast and there was a guest speaker on there who's just released a book called Mind Your Mindset. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can remember the author. I think it was Michael Hackett, but I'll just double check that. Anyway, before we do that, let me go on to the other 2 cognitive distortions. So, well, actually, now that I'm here, Mind Your Mindset. Sorry, Michael Hyatt and Megan Hyatt. So I'll post that in the comments. But anyway, number 3, negative mental filter. This is where we highlight and draw mostly on the negatives and generally ignore any of the positives that are happening in our life. Just like a drop of ink that colours a whole jar of water dark, or an unwashed tuna can that stinks up your whole kitchen, or your overall impression of reality becomes very unfavourable, right? Have you caught yourself in traffic, for example, and it's like you seem to catch all the red lights, and so then you're like, I always get all the red lights, especially when I'm running late. That's an example of negative filter, right? And here's a couple more. My workouts have been consistent. I'm recovering pretty well. Only I still can't seem to do a single chin up. I can't be strong with these, noodle arms and this fat ass. I cooked this beautiful meal and it actually tasted good. Of course, my toddler hated the green bits, so definitely we won't be making this again. Everyone said they liked my performance, but I saw that one audience member grimaced when I said one of my lines. It must have been terrible. Or my favourite, when you've had a performance review and the only thing that you focus on is the one area of opportunity that your boss probably mentioned to you. I am super guilty of that one. Number 4, discounting the positives. You insist that achievements or positive efforts don't count. Also very guilty of this one. This is particularly painful because even when things in life are going well, you don't really let yourself enjoy it. Examples of discounting the positives. Sure, I managed to practice my new walking habit pretty consistently, but even my dog can do that. My coach is only telling me a good job this week because she's trying to be nice. I spent some time organising my kitchen, but who cares? There's still Cheerios under the couch and peanut butter handprints on the walls. So there's all of those, right? So over the coming days, I'll share the other 5 cognitive distortions. For now, just practice becoming aware of any that are coming up for you. And notice when you're kind of painting like a brush over everything else in your life based on just a couple of little observations that you've made around some things that aren't so great, right? And then I will go through the rest of them shortly. Let me know if you've been guilty of any of these cognitive distortions as they come up, and any examples that you want to share, because obviously we'll all learn from each other. Cheers.